Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 133, Horizon Forbidden West, with me, George, and as always joined by Tom, Shield Wing to my Bingo Wing. How's it going?
It's going well, thanks. Very well indeed. I like that little...
Well, we'll find out more about the Shield
Wing. We'll find out
what
that means.
When we get deep into the Horizon Forbidden West preview that we've got coming up for you lovely listeners. We're not going to mess around today. I need to ask Tom, as tradition dictates, what you've been playing.
This week, I've been... last week I was playing Last Guardian. I've done a bit more of that this week. Progressed a little more. I've got the ability to give orders or commands to the creature, which is great, but also a little bit clunky, as much like the rest of the game. There's some wonderful animations within the Last Guardian. I noticed I fell from a bit higher height the other day as the boy, and as he got up he was like holding his leg, and then he walks around with a hobble for just a few seconds. But nice little touches like that make it feel very real. The lack of a lot of HUD on the screen as well really helps. But then there's the bizarre thing that they have the tutorial there constantly for the same commands you've been doing, which is really weird, and it does, especially because the look of the game is so nice, it really sort of gets in the way a little bit. But other than that, it's really well done. Again, the controls show their age, and they were probably old when it came out.
That was one of the criticisms.
Which I criticised a bit last week, but still really enjoying it. Plonked the boy down in front of it as well, and he thought the creature was just the best thing he'd ever seen in his life. He was just mesmerised watching it.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
He wanted to know where the creature was going. I was just like, I don't know, mate. I just don't know. We're going to lead it. And he thought I was great watching that. I think... I finally did the bit of Hades I wanted to. I put the heat level up to 8, and just managed to power through this time using the bow, which I found good for keeping my health a bit more in control because I could attack enemies from distance. Played a few online games. I've been retro. Don't worry, it's not a 1-year-old game. It's not a 1-week-old game. Mega Drive Mini came out for a little blast.
Oh, you've got that, haven't you?
Yeah, I got that. I just dabbled through the classics. I'd love to be able to finish Earthworm Jim, but it was a solid game then, and it's a solid game now. You've got the...
Makes Hades look like a kid's game.
Yeah, it does. It's got the pause points, obviously, now you can do, which takes a little bit of the, like, I've had enough of that, I need to just take a minute, whereas before it's like, either leave the console on in permanent pause and burn your screen, or turn it off. So yeah, I've had the Mega Drive Mini out. I've not had much luck hunting for GameCube stuff, because today I was going to go over to...
Wait, on that note, we were going to do it earlier.
This?
We're going to do it now. It's... Well,
to George and Tom.
Ponsonbury Manor. So,
Ponsonbury Manor.
That's from the Gaming Gram.
Wow.
First
a live on air opening. And
yes,
there's a
absolutely.
Note.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
well,
goodness me. Do you want to do the reading because you've got the better voice?
Dear George and Tom, here are some GameCube games for Tom's collection. I've had them for a good 10 to 15 years, but I think it's time for them to go to someone who will appreciate them more. I've thrown in a copy of ECW Hardcore Resolution for the PS1. Don't worry, George, this one's a duplicate copy that I found while tracking down the GameCube games. The controls are a mess like Warzone, but I thought you guys would have some fun with it. As always, thank you for the time and effort that you guys put into the show each week. You have no idea the positive impact this show has had on my life in the past year. Thank you.
Wow. Just make it very worthwhile. Thank you very much.
Actual real name, Rob, aka the Gaming Gram. Sorry that the games aren't in the best shape. They are pretty old. Listen, the only thing I would say is...
Legends of Wrestling 2.
I know.
We loved that.
I know we did. To anyone who sends anything in to us, we do appreciate it. I think the thing that I appreciate most is the fact that we've had a positive impact on someone, and that's
what it's all about.
That's
really.
the only reason why the show began, and it's the only reason why we say if someone gives you the unofficial controller, it's what you do with it that counts, and that's the same in life. So, Rob, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Genuinely,
Rob.
Tom
really
looks like
that.
the cat got awesome. the. Looks like I've got a copy of...
Is Sonic Heroes like a
it's good.
follow-on from Adventure?
I kind of believe it is a follow-on from Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
It looks similar to that.
And I've got a
That's
copy of Hardcore ECW Revolution. So he's right. It is the Warzone
Includes
attitude.
the UK greats, Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks, Kendo Nagasaki, and Mick McManus.
He's like a kid at Christmas. He just can't
Look
control
at that
himself.
ladder match as well. I forgot we'd played this. We played it a fair bit.
I know we did.
Great game.
In lieu of other wrestling games.
As a reward to some of the wrestling fans or wrestling game fans of the show, I think we should have a battle on that, and also a battle on ECW.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Okay. Well,
It might take us a little bit of time to get the console set up because I'm still lacking a Power League for the GameCube, which I will track down.
I have a GameCube that we can use. Somewhere. I'm sure of it.
Okay. Do you have any spares?
Oh, look. I have one. Let me have a little gather around in the loft.
The loft.
Not
The extended part of the collection.
No.
If you thought the shelves were shedding a load, you want to see the rafters of Ponsonbury Manor.
You don't even talk about what's up there.
Okay.
It's, Mumsy's previous lovers up there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So thank you to the Gaming Gram for that.
Thank you very much.
I've never seen him so happy. So this is great news and some awesome games for the collection there.
If anyone can recommend any retro shops a bit further afield, because I had a look on Google, like location thing, and they are quite few and far between. Obviously, sadly, Gotham Games closed in Lincoln, so our local...
Is that one in Boston?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go today, but he's not open on a Sunday, so it's going to be quite difficult for me to go, as I'm usually busy with the family life or work. But I will keep the hunt for the GameCube going. That's a nice little start to the collection.
Well, you need to ask me what I've been playing.
Yes, I was just getting to that. What have you been... Well, I kind of know.
Well, wait. Let's start at the top. Super Mario 3D World. I've been playing that this week.
On the 3DS.
On the Wii U.
Oh, the what? Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, great game. I enjoyed that.
What an absolute lie. Super Mario Isometric World. And if you didn't have that shadow, until I saw the shadow on the ground, I was getting owned every time. I was like, this is not Mario. What's happening here?
Yeah, with the jump.
The perspective is completely off, and it was disappointing.
Takes a bit of getting used to.
Yeah,
I quite liked it because I played the prequel.
The jumping's not an issue. It can get away with that. It's when you're trying to line up for a bad guy bring down. It's like
it's that isometric view does make some complications in the traditional Mario gameplay, but I played the 3D land on
beautiful.
The 3DS. Yeah, very nice.
What annoys me as well is sometimes the camera locks behind and it feels like a true 3D Mario game.
It was a bit, when it came out on Wii U, I was like, it's not really what I asked for. Me personally, I'm asking you, Miyamoto, to make a 3D akin to Galaxy or Sunshine.
Which you got in...
we did, Odyssey, which is brilliant. Did you play that in multiplayer?
No, I did notice that it's really built for multiplayer. There's a couple of sections that I was trying to do, and I was like, I just can't wind this quick enough and get on that and get up there. And it's like, it must be a two-player mechanic.
Yes. There is bits like that.
Anyway,
some of the later parts of that game are absolutely solid.
Brushing that under the carpet for now.
Tell me more.
Let's bring out Snow Runner.
Oh, okay.
Been enjoying that again. It's
got stuck
many times, but it's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
And then
that's like work.
Moving that to one side, I want to dedicate the whole show to this, but it's not at all possible. It's Jedi Fallen Order, although I probably want to call it Force Unleashed. It's Jedi Fallen
I'm
Order,
sure you will by
possibly the greatest Star Wars game ever made. I've 100%ed Ilum, 100%ed... I think I need to go back to Kashyyyk, but I've done Zepho, Bogano, so literally just the one planet left 100%.
Dathomir, is it?
Oh, and Dathomir I've got to do. So literally, I think I've got like 8% on Kashyyyk, and I've got... I'm at 82% completion on Dathomir, so very close. And one of the things I like about... when you're at Kashyyyk, you fight the Ninth Sister.
Yes.
And when she...
Is that the big one?
Yeah. There's a couple of times where I died, and she says this... Second's gonna love this. Some of the things that they say when they take you down are hilarious. Like when I finished that and I got back, I was on my way back to the Mantis. I was like, oh, Cal, and I was all sort of triumphant. I beat this boss and I beat the bat thing as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, is that on Dathomir? That's on Dathomir. Anyway, I was like, yeah. He was going in the lift, and I was like, you know what? You went in there a boy, Cal. You've come out a man. Opens the lift. There's one of the stormtroopers with the one of the scout troopers with the pauldron on.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie, Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
Yeah.
The tougher the leaders.
Larger, like LMG guy.
Ended me.
Oh, no.
No, the one with the baton, the scout trooper.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ended me. And he's like, radio base, they're not going to believe this. They just took out a Jedi.
That's cool. Yeah,
because I came out all guns blazing, thinking I was the main man, and then got owned.
The slain a second sister or ninth sister.
So and then Tom came round, and I've been on the boss fight with the second sister since last night. So I had I was on it all day yesterday.
Triller,
isn't it? Completely loving myself. Got to Triller, and I just couldn't get the rhythm right. And then Tom appears.
In walks old Ben Kenobi.
In walks Ben Kenobi's ghost. Watches me do it first hand, no question.
Yeah.
I have no... And one thing I say about that game is I could never get the sparring. Every now and then I'd get it against a scout trooper. I can do the lasers, you can see him coming, but when you're in close combat with the bosses specifically, because Malakos... I left Malakos, went off and leveled up everywhere, and then came back. And he still was a challenge. But
him and the final boss to me were the hardest ones. I think watching you play, it was really nice to see a different play style, of way more aggressive. You were constantly attacking her. Did some nice attack dodging when she did like that force push thing. But it's
that's
nice
good you witnessed that, because every other time up until that point, every time I went to jump, I would see her go red and I would dodge. And then it would be that ground disruption move, which then caught me.
It made me realise what a stunning game it is. I mean, you've got a nice setup to play it on, but I think witnessing it again, because I played it obviously when it came out, and seeing it again, I was like, wow.
Have you still got it? Because that upgrade's free on the Dash.
Yeah, I think I have done the free upgrade, but I need to reinstall it because of space. But because there's a lot coming out at the minute, I won't re-download it. I might save it for a rainy day when there's not much to play. But,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I saw on Roast Space Monk was starting it on the Discord. Literally, if you haven't played it, I recommend. I don't know why I've held off for so long.
I had a friend from work who played it over Christmas and finished it. After I lent it to him, like 6 months after it came out, when I'd finished it, he didn't play it because he's a young lad and he's doing young lad things. But his brother took it out of his room, played it, finished it, and told him it was really good. And then over Christmas this year, he was like, "Oh, I got time to play. Not my copy, but I think he picked it up in the sale for peanuts, and played and finished it, and said he loved it." But a popular game for those who have actually played it. I think it's one of those also though that has had a bit of hate from a lot of fans who probably have never played it. So, is that a listener getting a comment in?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've been playing.
Yeah,
this week.
Been a fun week.
It's awesome.
I don't know.
I think it's a good week for Star Wars. Did you see the Boba Fett episode?
I did, yeah.
We're not going spoilers, but what a show. Well, what an episode, should we say.
What an episode. The only thing I'd say about that is, let's cut back to Boba now.
Yep.
Because it's his show.
Boba Loba or Boba Fett?
Boba Fett.
But Boba Fett.
Boba Loba Fett. We'll hear from him in the news.
Excellent.
But it's time to scour the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up,
sharpen those shabby things. We've got some exciting news coming out the Xbox Game Studios today, as it's been reported that Xbox has partnered with developer Certain Affinity on a Monster Hunter style project, exclusively known internally as Project Surette. Is that right?
I mean, they've just done that to make sure that we
Nobody
don't
can
stumble
pronounce it,
over
yeah.
ourselves yet.
Both the Grub Snacks podcast and Windows
Project
Central are
Suet.
reported. Project Suet for all your beefy dumpling needs. Windows Central are reporting that the latter suggesting that the game will likely feature big monster battles with multiplayer gameplay. It supposedly started development back in the summer of 2020, so a couple of years in development now, and the outlet predicts that we're currently looking at a 2023 reveal with a 2024 release date. Certain Affinity is no stranger to partnering with Microsoft, having worked on as a support studio on various titles in the Halo franchise, including Halo Infinite. The developer is well known for his work on the Call of Duty series. Could be a few years until we get any official information about this one, but we're definitely liking what we're hearing. Let's hope Certain Affinity can deliver the goods and produce something special for Xbox Game Studios.
I think that the idea of a Monster Hunter style game could be pretty good. I mean, it's very popular.
Yeah.
And I think that if they can get a game that captures that and it's exclusive to the platform, I think could be fantastic. And I think that's a worthwhile thing to double down on.
What we got next, mate?
Up next, get your time turners ready. We reported a week or so ago that we didn't think this would see the light of day, but there's speculation on social media. The development has been obstructed by Dementors and may be delayed until summer 2023 on all modern platforms. But publicly, Warner Bros. Continues to commit to a launch this year, with official Harry Potter website Wizarding World reiterating the release window in a recent blog post. Now Warner Media bigwig Jason Kilar has shared the same sentiment in a long Twitter thread focusing on the company's quarterly results. He mentioned that his employer's strategy continues in 2022, delivering a full slate of highly anticipated games. He attached images of both Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy to his post. Obviously, the publisher will continue to toe the company line until the delay is officially announced, so this confirmation doesn't necessarily undermine any of this speculation revolving around the release. Whatever the case, we should get new footage and insider information about the game this year, and it spent the entirety of 2021 hidden under its invisibility cloak.
Well, just to add to that, there's been a leak from a fairly legit sort of rumour monger. Not divulge me sources.
Hang on. We don't do leaks and we don't do rumours here.
Well, we've got
on the
2 leaks and rumours today, so get ready. Hogwarts Legacy apparently will feature in a February or March state of play, showing abilities, wand combat, and basically bits you can do around Hogwarts. So stay tuned, because I think with that reconfirmation that they're hoping to get it this year, still think it could see a delay, fingers crossed not, but someone said what a great idea, it'd be good to release it in September. The pupils go back to school. Imagine if it played in like real time. Not going to happen, but quite a good idea.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit boring from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, just go to a lesson.
You'd be truant because you'd be at work during all the lessons, and the kids would be at school during their lessons. So if it played in real time,
very true.
You'd have to be up at 9 a.m. playing that on your Xbox or your PlayStation.
I'm giving up school, Mum. I'm basically gone to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just playing that and eating pot noodles.
Yeah.
Cup noodles. We're sponsored by Cup Noodles. There is no better noodle.
Okay. When will we see money from them?
I can give you a couple of cup noodles to take home.
So the paying is in
cup noodles.
In cup noodles.
Yeah.
In product only.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all
At least
right.
we'll never
It's all
starve.
Right. No, that's true. That's giving me something to work with later. Don't worry.
Cup noodle. You could probably fashion it like Jeff Hardy into art.
Wear it up my arms. Like, just cut the pots open and keep putting them up my arms.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that. Like an armour suit.
An armour made of cup noodle.
What more
cup
could
armour
really need?
Anyway, next bit of news. What we got?
You be careful. Oh, I like the way you penned the.
I saw a lot of big words in there, and my mouth got
can't
scared.
be serious, man. Taken from an article over at Eurogamer by Tom Phillips. In December, Ubisoft raised eyebrows when it announced Quartz, an NFT platform for big budget games which hosts resellable in-game items with a unique code stamped on. Despite saying the system would use an energy-efficient technology, 1,000,000 times less energy than a Bitcoin transaction, fans still criticised Ubisoft's focus and championing of a technology they claimed was unnecessary and speculative. Now the two faces behind Ubisoft's big NFT push have been interviewed by Australian financial site Finder, said fans just do not get it. Specifically, fans were not to understand the upsides to reselling digital items, whereas Ubisoft was simply getting it earlier on a paradigm shift in gaming. Here's the extended quote in full. I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them, Nicholas Pouard, VP at Ubisoft's Strategic Innovations Lab, said. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's destroying the planet. And second, just a tool for speculation. But we, at Ubisoft, are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell the items once they've finished with them, or they're finished playing the game itself. So it's really for them. It's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now. Also, it's part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There is lots of habits you need to go against and lots of your own ingrained mindsets you have to shift. It takes time, we know that. Pouard said the reaction to Quartz was something Ubisoft was expecting, and it was not an easy concept to grasp. He also reiterated that Ubisoft would never force players to use Quartz and that its requirements to own a copy of the game and to have played 2 hours of it made the platform harder target for speculators. When Ubisoft released its first batch of Quartz items known as Digits for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, a very big majority of the 2,500 tokens ordered were from the existing long-term players. Didier Genovis, Ubisoft's blockchain technical director, added, when asked about whether the majority of all Ubisoft games might use Quartz in the future, Pouard said it was up to each project's team to decide. We so strongly believe that we're doing with Quartz and Digits goes in the right direction, Pouard concluded, so we'll keep integrating, obviously listening to what our fans are telling us and how they're telling us. So as we go, we can also adapt what we're doing and where we're going. So that's the next move, to make sure what we're doing will make even more sense to gamers. Of course, the views of everyone at Ubisoft are up to themselves. One has to wonder, Tom, what's going on?
Anybody who tells you you don't get it knows you are getting it and you're realising what a con it is.
Why don't they sell these items to people that just speculate in NFTs and release the game for free? There's one way.
Exactly. I mean, if that's what you're into and that's what you want to do, but you are owning nothing physical, and in this day and age that seems to be a more and more
common trend. Well, have you heard John Lennon's son, Julian, is selling NFTs which are basically digital photographs of some items from his father, along with a narration from him, and they're actually selling for like almost the value these things would fetch into the real world.
See, that is just nonsense, isn't it?
So he gets to keep them and he sells a picture of it. Yeah. Right-click copy. You know, that's my story here. Every time I see an NFT, right-click copy, save it.
There's an argument for digital content because, hopefully, it will always be accessible. Whereas, this is a really strange example, but imagine, God forbid, your house burns down, all your family photos are gone. You don't get them out the house. They're gone. If you have digital photos or digital home movies, you have got those because you will always be able to access them.
If you put them in the cloud.
If you put them in the cloud, yeah. Providing they're on a digital machine that you can access them from anywhere, like the cloud and other sort of storage devices. But this whole point of monopolising and making money off it, like Ubisoft are talking about, I mean, they're saying about when you've used an in-game item or DLC or something like that you'll be able to sell it on to someone else. I just don't see it being as clear-cut as that. There's no way they'll make it. So you're telling me they're going to make an item that they could sell to someone else, but then instead, like second-hand games, I go, okay, got this copy of Legends of Wrestling, George, that we've been generously given. Let's say the Gaming Grand was going to sell it to us. We give him the money for it. The profit doesn't go to the company who made it. So it's the same principle with Ubisoft, that if they do this, they're doing themselves out of money, and there's no way they'll do that. No way. And it's just...
It's where the industry tried to pivot to when they brought the DRM thing in.
I did see... True. I did see a really interesting thing of each generation has had their very suspect business model of arcades. Used to be very, very unfair, so they kept you pumping coins in. And then we've had... That obviously went on for some time. 16-bit generation was arguably ridiculously hard, and the games were very, very expensive. Then we start moving into like DLC era and add-on content, which some of it is great, some is tripe.
Horse armour,
guilty of that. And obviously now we're moving into these NFTs, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not going to recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea, but there will be people who buy them. Same as crypto and all that sort of thing.
Well, it's a good job you've corrected Ubisoft, because it's time for us to be corrected. The new section of the show and on the Discord called Community Corrections. Let's get first blood. Retro Gamer Thomas came in with a bloody dagger. He says, I think Tom's wrong. Last Guardian was PS4 only. I'm sure it took so long they re-upgrade it to all again for PS4, which is true. And then Bo Beloba opened up a can of worms here. Do we get to talk about how George says Bethesda?
Now, I used to say it Bethesda, which I know was wrong, and then I heard it talked about, and I was like, Bethesda, that sounds correct.
Listen, when there was no one around to correct me when I was playing Sea Dogs 1 and 2 and Morrowind, I made my own mind about how to pronounce this, and it is lodged in stone. Anyway, it's Roast Space Monk and Bada Binkster came in with it. Is it not? Oh, it's not just me. I thought I was the only one saying it. Vablober says, I think it's 1 point to the community every time we hear Bethesda. You say Bethesda, but it's actually Bethesda, which I said sounds like Beth from Asda. Roast Space Monk says, sorry, but it's true. I didn't want to be that guy, but Vablober went there. I'm going to listen to every episode again and find something to correct. And then while there was blood in the water, Finchy the shark that he is, aka Where the Dude, aka Comic Picture 79, go find him and his lovely artwork out there on Etsy and on Instagram. He reminded me that this didn't happen on air. I'm now being held up for my crimes on Discord as well.
That's why I'm probably better not on there.
Jeff Wayne, War of the Worlds,
trouble.
Jeff Lynn, ELO Travelling Wilburys. Like, yes, okay, you know, I didn't even know I'd typed Jeff Lynn in. I thought I was talking about War of the Worlds, but obviously I'm down for the count here.
The Beth at Asda thing has got me thinking of, you know, those Facebook names.
Yeah.
Like Woe Black Betty, Pam Balam.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. Meatloaf.
Okay. Well, we're looking for the real Beth from Asda.
Yep. Beth from Asda, get in touch with the show.
Well, with all that said and done, hopefully you had some fun. Please, if we slip up in the show, head over to the Discord's community corrections and put us right. Tom, we always ask this. Did we miss anything? Do you, dear listener, have an opinion or take on the news that we missed? If so, what would they do?
You can come and chat with like-minded people, like some featured in these community corrections, which I quite like. I think they're
keeps us honest,
keeps us honest, and it gets talking. Yeah, come and join them in the Discord, and George, who will cheer you up about anything really, mainly Dreamcast wrestling games and PlayStation.
Not Dreamcast wrestling games.
There was only one.
There was Royal
Rumble,
and then there was the
anyway. Let's cut that off.
Time for another community correction. Whatever the Fire Pro Wrestling D.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you can reach us in the Discord. You can direct messages on Instagram or Twitter.
And Hardcore ECW Revolution and Attitude, I believe.
Oh, yes.
Well, I stand corrected.
Yeah,
I
corrected yourself many times. And also email at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast or DM us on Instagram or Twitter. If you are a new listener to this show, please get in touch on Instagram or Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts on the show. If it's the first time listening or you've been listening for a while and you just want to say hello, please come and join in the chat with everybody. There's some really sound people to get to know, and lots of great opinions on video games. But also, I forgot, George, we should probably say good morning, because this show will be a little treat for everyone, hopefully, on Monday morning.
Hopefully.
It puts the pressure on you now to get it out for Monday
Do I
morning.
need any more pressure on me?
Then we can have community correction when it comes out on a Thursday afternoon.
I feel like I've tried to never let them down.
You have never let this show down. Me, on the other hand...
Don't go there.
I've just... Yeah.
Don't go there. It's time. I don't know how we link to this. I think we just give up at this point. Draw a line under the news.
We have. We're moving on.
Moving on. Much like Aloy does in Horizon Forbidden West.
Beautiful.
Horizon Forbidden West. Aloy's next adventure has officially gone gold, so hurry up. February the 18th. Tom, we're in the feature here. I'm excited for this. I think hopefully people will be able to use this as an easy way to get to know what happened previously in a very small way, and then find out what's the teasers.
Yeah, we've kept the information about Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, fairly minimal. We'll just touch on a few of the previous characters and the tribes, but we want people to explore that game for themselves if they've not played it already. I'd say people who are picking this game up, 80%-ish, 90% are going to have played the first one. So we hope you find this upcoming information valuable.
Okay, well, Forbidden West picks up roughly 6 months later following the events of Horizon Zero Dawn, with Aloy seeking to find a way to stop a new ecological disaster known as the Red Blight. She decides to leave her own territory of the Nora tribe and venture to the place known as the Forbidden West. Anyone who's completed the first game and attained the power armour, don't get carried away, as it's been nerfed in a way that works with the story. It must have been batteries made by Apple, as they've run out of power, thus making the armour nowhere near as strong. We don't want to give too much away about the plot, so we're going to take a look at some of the features, mechanics, weapons and characters you'll be able to come in across from the 14th of February.
It's the 18th, sorry, correction there already. I said 18th in the first one. It's not available Valentine's Day, so don't worry. Your partners are not going to get mad at you.
Yes!
Although it would make a nice gift for many people.
Well, I can put a ring on Aloy's finger, walk her down the aisle.
There you go. The power armour was quite an interesting little tidbit I found while researching information for the feature. Obviously, towards the end of Horizon Zero Dawn, gaining that armour just made you so OP and kind of took a bit of the challenge out of some of the tougher enemies.
I think to get to that, you've really got to be in the end game. I mean, if you did the end, I found that I probably didn't invest enough time upgrading stuff, and therefore the end boss fight, I actually struggled with at times.
Yeah, there's options as well in the first game to build more relationships through side quests, and it's a bit like Mass Effect. The more you put into it, the more help you get.
I had them all there.
You had all the backup.
But my Aloy was a little weak.
Okay. So she was getting carried by all the tribes.
Basically.
Yeah, get in there. I'll just stand back and shoot me bow from a very long way away.
Yeah, basically that's what happened. There was lots of dodging and hiding behind things while I kind of reconstituted myself.
Well, let's move on. New weapons and equipment. Aloy will now be able to visit the PlayStation Studios Old Faithful, the workbench.
Some Fallen Order as well.
Yeah. It seems a favour of this gen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And new gen. Here she can add upgrades to lots of new and existing weapons and equipment. Here are a few examples. What we've got first, mate?
The Pullcaster, more a traversal tool than weapon. Every game needs a grapple hook these days. With Forbidden West's more vertical world design, the Pullcaster will help Aloy reach new heights. Not only can it be used for helping climb the environment, it can also help Aloy scale some of the larger game machines. I could do with a Pullcaster to pull myself up a social level or two in real life.
The animations on that look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
And moving around the environment's going to be a lot more fun, I think. What I found with Horizon Zero Dawn is obviously you could ride some of the machines, but the Pullcaster and one of the other items we're going to get to in a few minutes are really going to open that world up. Next we've got the Shredder Gauntlet, seen in one of the trailers or gameplay footage. It's a boomerang type weapon seen in the arena gameplay. Speaking of the arena though, Horizon's developers have taken much more focus on melee combat this time. There's specific parts of the arena or combat melee sections in that arena, so it's really been beefed up and there's going to be specialist attacks for that.
You also get the Spike Thrower, a large javelin type weapon that is used to deal range to deal massive damage to large enemies.
I've seen that, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like All or Nothing. It's a big gamble to use it, but it looks really cool.
The Glider Shield Wing. Breath of the Wild and Nintendo may have something to say on this one, but we can see why Guerrilla Games have added this, as it's really helped getting around Zelda's huge open world. Aloy now has her own version, will be able to work her way up high with the Pullcaster and then descend to areas safely using the Shield Wing. You can pull yourself out the Shield Wing glide if you see a point you can reach with a Pullcaster, so who knows what speedrunners will be able to do with their new tools at their disposal. Also, that's going to be a very interesting addition for the collectibles. No doubt you've got to get up some area, jump off, and then you've got like a small window to...
I mean, I've loved seeing what people have done on Halo Infinite with the grapple hook and how they've implemented that into sort of not just speed runs, but general like sort of little YouTube clips of people doing cool stuff with the bazookas and the flying vehicles and the grapple hook. Yeah, I'm excited. I think traversal is really going to be a lot more fun in this one. And as we talked about,
Felt very grounded in the first game.
Yeah, the verticality of this world. Obviously, there's some big structures in the West in the US, so we're going to be possibly visiting remnants of those.
Very exciting. What next?
Well, what goes up must come down. So,
Oh, blimey, now it's covered in grease, bacon grease at least. Underwater masks. Seen obviously in an early trailer, you guys, if you've been following the game, you've seen it. Aloy's wearing a breathing apparatus in the new underwater sections of the world. We believe this will also be upgradable, allowing for longer submerged and possibly deeper into the depths. And if you wonder what terrors await in the deep, elemental attacks will make a return with 2 new additions, acid and plasma. Sign us up if we can get hands on a plasma cannon.
yeah, because there was that slightly larger weapon, wasn't there? Or you know where you could knock off a bit of the larger enemies, where I think they had a cannon or like a heavy duty weapon.
Correct.
And you could only walk around with it. I think that'd be great to have like a plasma cannon. Get some nice 3D audio effects out of that.
Oh.
Quality of life improvements. There's been a few of these added, and still many more we probably don't know about. But the focus mode has had some tweaks. You can now scan your surroundings with R3. Any climbable surfaces will be highlighted with holograms, which is far better than having every handhold painted bright yellow. Additionally, while analysing a machine, you can cycle through all its removable parts using the D-pad, instead of having to carefully hover over the creature with the right stick. Secondly, in addition to some great looking side quests, more has been done to make the settlements feel more like living, breathing places. You'll be able to play a board game, which looks pretty cool, called Machine Strike. You can shop at vendors for various items and gear, access your stash, upgrade weapons and skills at the workbench, which we've covered, and improve your combat skills in the melee pits. A bit more info on the Machine Strike board game though. This has players using mini versions of some of the machines from the game world. Different terrain boards can also help determine victory depending on the machines used. So
One thing before I forget, that if you're out collecting items, you don't, when your pouch is full,
it's unlimited.
it's a bit
isn't it?
breaking, but they magic back to your stash.
Yeah. I think that obviously sounds like there's going to be a lot to collect, so they didn't want to limit us on how much we could carry. I know that takes away the little bit of... I mean, Red Dead did it in quite a nice way, that when you went into battle off your horse, you could only carry 2 sidearms and 2 long barrel guns. I thought that was quite nice, but on your horse you could carry pretty much everything.
Apart from, skins.
Well, yeah. They limited the number in that, which was quite...
But it's a video game. Where do you
It
go?
is,
Where's the
yeah.
stop?
There's a balance between realism and sort of quality of life of actually playing the game.
New characters.
And some of the returning characters. We'll
Okay.
kick off with a returning one. Erend, member of the Osman tribe and captain of the Vaja Sun Kingsguard. The handlebarred old faithful is back. No, we're not talking about our old pal Finster gamer, but Horizon Zero Dawn's Erend, voiced by John Hopkins.
Nice.
Erend was one of the first returning faces seen in the first gameplay trailer of Forbidden West in the State of Play. A fearless and mighty warrior, wields a large hammer weapon, and was a key ally helping Aloy bring down a Deathbringer machine towards the end of Zero Dawn. While far from his homeland, it looks like Erend will be joining or assisting Aloy on a new adventure west.
He was a fun character.
I think he was one of the few that because it's been a long time since I played the first one, and when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, yeah, I know who he is. I think that's why they probably used him in that first gameplay footage.
Yeah, to bring you in.
Yeah.
Up next, Val, voiced by John McMillan and modelled by Amran Adams, another of the first game's original allies. Val is a Nora Brave, skilled warrior. He helped Aloy towards the conclusion of Zero Dawn. He began a strong friendship with Erend in the first game. Developers say that will continue to be a strong focus going into the new surroundings of the Forbidden West.
Next up, we've got a new character. So let's hope we get the pronunciation right. This is the game's new antagonist, Regalia. Or Regala.
Regala, I think.
Regala.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Regalia was the car in Final Fantasy 15, wasn't it?
Oh, what a great...
So we're going with Regala.
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 Just because it's got the 2 L's.
Okay. Regala, played by Angela Bassett, best known for her portrayal of Tina Turner in the biopic What's Love Got to Do with It, which earned her an Academy Award nomination. Comic book fans may also notice her from Avengers Endgame, where she played Ramonda. She's well known in the voice work industry, working on Transformers and recently Disney Pixar's Soul. In Forbidden West, though, she plays the new antagonist, Regala, a leader of the rebel splinter group from the Tanakh tribe, who are native to the game's new location. Lead narrative designer Benjamin McCaw had this to say about Regala. She's someone who is driven by hatred, specifically hatred of the Kaja tribe, and she's willing to burn down the world to get any kind of vengeance that she wants. McCaw explained, she's going to plough through anyone who gets in her way. From an emotional perspective, between Aloy and Regala is an unstoppable force meeting a immovable object. Well, apparently, according to other devs on the project, it looks like there will be an early meeting in the game between the two, which promises to have a terrifying confrontation between them both.
Up next, Tilda, cashing in on the Matrix fame right now, but it's a new character played by Carrie-Anne Moss. So far, little is known of her, but she'll play a big part in Aloy's journey. Our theory she has a strong connection to the old world and may provide Aloy with answers to more of what came before. A little bit like, without giving too much away, you had like a guide, a hollow guide,
You
or
did,
someone
yes.
to go find and chase.
Yeah, there were
in the first
several
game,
hollow
wasn't there?
guides of some of the people from the past who helped drive the story along.
And I see her being similar.
I think so, yeah. That's our theory so far, but little is known about her, so we don't want to have any spoilers. We've got Silence returning. Lance Reddick's Silence returns in Forbidden West. While Silence helped Aloy on a journey through Horizon Zero Dawn, it was later revealed on the game that he had his own agenda, and not a particularly nice one at that. We'll not spoil that for anyone, but Benjamin McCaw, the narrative designer, again says this on Silence. Silence always has a plan, and that plan is never quite what you think. That's how it was in the first game, that's how it's going to be in the second game.
Yeah, I mean, he was always portrayed as someone that I didn't really feel, you know, we talk of moustache twirling and all that, but he felt very edgy and untrustworthy.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I never felt like that was a surprise, but...
Yeah. I mean, he's a good character because he's a bit more of a grey character. His agenda
There's
isn't
nothing
all
wrong
bad.
with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong
I
with
think
a grey
it's nice
character.
when video games implement more grey characters because the world isn't always black and white.
No, absolutely not. Up next, Alva, voiced by Alison Jay, who has done voice work in Apex Legends as Mila and also starred in the American version of Shameless. That must have been a roaring success.
I think it is over there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
I don't think it's a massive show, but it's certainly community corrections if it's a steaming pile of dog mess. But anyway,
New face Alva is part of a mysterious new tribe that Ayla will meet. Alva is young and sometimes unsure, but loyal to her tribe, and will hopefully become a strong new ally of Aloy. The developers of the game said of actress Alison Jay that as soon as they saw her casting audition, they had the artwork of Alva, they were blown away and couldn't wait to get to work bringing it into the game. Now, one thing you'd say about Horizon, the franchise, as it is in its second title, is it's really most famous for its machines.
yeah. I mean, when we first saw footage of it, I didn't even own a PS4 at that point, and I was blown away by the animations, the way the machines move, the realistic nature of it, the way they were based, a lot of them on real life animals or mammals, and I thought they were great, brilliant in the game, and we've got more of those to tell you about. What we've got first?
The Clamberjaws, large baboon-type enemies who can scale trees with ease and dive down for attack.
Yeah, they were seen in a recent gameplay clip of. They look originally when I saw them in the trailer, they look quite small, but actually they're a fair bit bigger than Aloy, so they're going to prove quite a challenging enemy.
Wow.
Speaking of which, though, the Slitherfangs. Now, these are like a giant snake, well, more like a cobra because they've got the sort of
hood.
fin, the hood. Oh, that's what it's called, isn't it? That's the correct term. Nice, good community correction.
Saved.
Saved.
Flawless.
Victory. A giant snake machine capable of boring underground to quickly change direction and attack Aloy.
Yeah, there's one of those in a similar thing in. There's a couple of them in Jedi Fallen Order that I've played. You think, oh, you know, but get a bit closer and burrows, and then pops up behind you.
Yeah.
Like, oh god!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's.
I mean, sorry.
As I say, it's a nice way of keeping you on your toes. If there's a crowd and one's burrowing,
where's it gone?
Where's it gone? And it pops up behind you, but you can't turn your back because you've already facing off to other enemies. So it's a clever technique.
I think these are going to be similar to Thunderjaws in the fact that they'll probably be seen later in the game. I mean, we've seen the only one we've seen so far in the gameplay and the trailers is in an arena combat situation. So in the wilds, I guess they're going to be more a higher tier enemy based on how they move and the damage they can do. Next up, we've got Bristlebacks, a warthog-looking enemy with dangerous tusks. We first saw a couple of the Bristlebacks in the announcement trailer for Horizon Forbidden West. They were being overridden by a mysterious hostile tribe that used machines for war. They bear a strong resemblance to behemoths, machines introduced in Horizon Zero Dawn, with their anti-gravity capabilities.
Yeah. Got the Burrowers. Burrowers are a new kind of recon class machine in the Forbidden West. They can emit a high-pitched noise that alerts other machines while simultaneously stunning enemies. They're capable of swimming, and as their name suggests, they can burrow underground to appear at a new location. That high-pitched noise was a feature of the first game as well, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
If you freaked them, then they were like...
Yeah, they're more like you say, a recon class. They'll alert sort of stronger enemies to your location. Obviously designed with keeping humanity in check and making sure we don't advance too far. Claw Striders, now these look really cool. I think they're one of my favourite looking machines from it. They have the look of like a robot velociraptor. They travel in packs, similar to a raptor, and appear to have powerful chainsaw-like jaws. Their name was revealed from the Horizon Zero Dawn comics.
Not only that, but I've seen someone riding one of these bad boys.
Yes, they are fully rideable, obviously if you overtake them.
That was one of the disappointments, I think, in the first game. Like, there were a couple of mounts you could ride, but then you couldn't mount and ride, the T-Rex or anything like that. I'd love to have walked up to a settlement, got off and roped up to
it all becomes a bit Dino Riders.
It does,
but that's not a bad thing.
Not at all.
Claw Striders, chainsaws, and velociraptors, two of my favourite things, really.
What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
Tremor Tusks, another new machine. Like, Tremor Tusk is a massive mammoth-like creature described as dangerous if discovered in the wild. However, when decked out for warfare by a human tribe like the Tanakh, it becomes a huge threat. Tremor Tusks are explicitly designed as combat machines to keep humans from overrunning the ecosystem.
Now, this one's the last one of the new creatures. I'm sure there'll be more, but it's one of the more interesting
40
ones.
creatures.
Yes, recently announced, hot off the press. And that's... is that include... Yeah, because there was about 26, apparently, in the old one. They're all returning. So on top of that...
Do the maths. We can't, because we're stupid. We're dumb.
That's 14 new creatures coming. Community corrections. Tom's maths is terrible.
So, don't ask me about maths. That's why we do a podcast. Sunwings. The Sunwings are a new flying type that patrol the skies of the Forbidden West, travelling alone or in small groups. They bear a strong resemblance to pterosaurs. Silent P. Community corrections. We're so nervous about being in there now that we'll always be in it, but that's fine.
I learnt that one through reading the boy like little dinosaur books, and I was like looking, going, "That's a pterodactyl, not a petrodactyl."
Oh, I see.
And then I was like, yes, of course, it's a silent P. Well, the Sunwings, now, are we going to ask the big thing? Are they going to be rideable? Will it break the game world too much?
No, because that shield wing's in there.
I feel like the shield wing is the payoff. It's very much like Breath of the Wild, like, here's the glider, but you can't, like, fly, like, with a loft wing or something.
That's an interesting thought. Who knows? Well, it depends. It depends.
I would love it if they
built
are.
for flight.
Like, I think it'd be great if it was more like an ability you get towards basically when you finish the game, so you can just take it in from another perspective. I think that always works well, because when you have that ability straight away, or maybe even halfway through the game, you just kind of, you're able to go anywhere and pretty much do anything. So it takes the challenge out of the climbing and the getting to the harder to reach locations. But I am actually, after writing the preview, quite hyped. I hope you guys are now, after you've learned a bit more information about it.
Before he rips up the drive.
Yeah.
What do you think's your sort of big takeaway, most exciting thing? What the thing that you're most looking forward to from Forbidden West? continuation of the story.
I think some of the, like I discussed at the start, the traversal was a big one for me. I think it felt, like you say, very grounded in the first one. I'm more curious about the location as well. I think one of my favourite things with the original was discovering some of the old world locations, which
that was my favourite.
They are now in the new one, and they're called Vista Points. I don't know where they were in the old one, but you can basically look at how it used to look through
I used to like collecting the mugs.
The mugs, oh yeah. So there's loads we've forgot about. So I'm looking mainly as well, just looking forward to getting back into that world. I think
my only thing I would like, and I've said this on record several times, I think the gameplay is fantastic, and whether it was
the haptic triggers and 3D audio are going to be awesome in this.
But Aloy, for me, I never really. She just seems so arrogant all the time, and I struggle to bond with her as a character.
She's very vanilla, I find. She's focused solely on...
Very much so. To the detriment of everything else.
I'm hoping they delve more into her character and who she is, but also she might be an accurate representation of a human in that world, because most of them are unaware of what has come before, and they're very primitive in terms of...
Yeah, well, that's my only saving grace is, people said this about when I researched Assassin's Creed 3, I've said this on there several times, people sort of didn't like his portrayal of the character that you play as in that, but the guy had done his research and was like, no, this is how Indians would have spoken English, and he would have been very primitive in his ways, and would have been guarded and other things like that. So if they incorporate an element of that into Ayla, but without explaining it to you as the viewer, it's lost on you, and she just comes across as unpragmatic and not very kind.
Yeah, she's very,
for instance,
unempathetic to a lot of things sometimes. And
look, my new best friend, Cal Kestis, I bonded with that dude completely. No problems at all. Aloy, I don't know. I love the game. I love the game world. I love everything about it. I just need to see a little bit more colour from her. I wanted to see her fall in love or whatever. I don't care who, what, or when, where, with. But I want to just see a little bit more of an emotional side from her. Just a little bit more.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I've done that, now I'm off to the next thing and the next thing. I think it kind of makes sense because she just wants the answers in the first game, and she doesn't get all of those, so we're going to see some more of that in the second one. But yeah, a little bit more character work with her, hopefully, and hopefully some of these new side characters will bring that out of her.
Question.
Yes.
Before he tears up the yard, what's he been up to this week?
He's been down Tate Modern.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone's had some time to prepare.
Well, he's not really a fan, but he knows he can blag anything down there. When he goes down the Big Smoke, he knows he's going to make money.
Right.
So he's taken cuppa art. So art made from empty cuppa soups.
Cup noodles or cup soups?
Cup soups.
So the empty silver and white paper packs,
Yeah.
he's turned them into art.
Uh-huh.
Only he could do that.
Mosaics and stuff. Very classy.
Selling them to the big high-end rollers.
Yeah, he's left some of the silver wrapping out in the sun, so it fades a little bit or just goes a bit discoloured, and then he's basically made it so you can see a picture when you look.
So he's not just ripping people off, he's actually putting his heart and soul into it.
He hasn't done that. He's found some, bohemian to do it for him.
James Work Experience Boys GCSE art homework.
Yeah.
Never thought there'd be an outlet for it. Well, here he comes now. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. I thought we were doing those men NFTs, but there you go. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappers and a dodgy copy of Battlefriend all this week? These are the release highlights for the week set January 31st to February 6, 2022. Listeners, these are out on digital, physical, or will be by some podcasts in your feed, but could be region dependent. I seem, as time goes on, I feel less able to speak. Community Corrections has got us on the edge now. Go for it.
First up, Life is Strange.
Which is your mummy, and obviously if
I've
you're
not
a
seen
new
them all
listener,
yet, so the first two
that's
definitely
all
are.
he's got.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
It'll be the second one then. So you read the first one.
Okay, so this is my mummy by default, and if you're a listener for the first time, a mummy is what we would have begged mummy for back in the day.
I don't think I could have begged for either of these. They are atrocious. No, I'm sure they've got their fans.
No,
but it's a
Life
silly
is
week.
Strange has its fans. Somewhere.
Hang on a minute. Isn't Dying Light out on the 4th? Or is it the 6th or 8th? I think it might be the week after.
If
I
it
don't
doesn't
think-
fit within the
Yeah,
window,
no,
it
doesn't,
won't be in
doesn't.
Stingray's boot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Life is Strange Remastered Collection. This is my mummy. PC, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia. It's going to be on the Xbox series of consoles as well through the backwards compatibility. Experience 2 awarding Life is Strange games like never before. Remastered visuals and animation breathe new life into the great cast of characters and gripping stories. Max rewinds time to get to the truth, while Chloe sparks an unforgettable friendship as she struggles to overcome her past. Might be worth picking up if you've never played it, or if you love the franchise like I know some of you do, then this seems like an awesome time to get stuck back in through the
Stadia's still hanging in there.
with the very cute on the very cuticles now of its fingernails.
Yeah.
Big release for Stadia, though, one would imagine.
Yeah.
Plastered all over the dash.
Yep, I'm sure. Chef-tastic Bullet Blast PC, February 4th. Slice and dice as a head chef up against hordes of mutant vegetables and the perfect mixture of familiar retro top-down shooters, coupled with the vibrant clarity of modern stylised graphics. Fight against the food brought to life by otherworldly beings and bring back balance to the realm of verdure.
That's your mummy.
It's going to have to be.
Time to get your PC.
I'd probably go retro this week.
Okay. Well,
I am.
As tradition dictates, we also reach into the back of Stingray's boot, our local video delivery guy.
Absolutely.
He's on the edge though, it's normally Pirates, but I'm pulling out a very sun-faded screen capture copy of The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
Oh.
It's really worn.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll play, and it's definitely not the original, but that's the joy of taking a Stingray.
It is. You never know what you're going to get. My pick of the week is Tremors 2 Aftershocks.
You have been doing your home. Who's this guy that's turned up? Community corrections. Let's put it. Let's put it on the side of a milk carton. What's happened to the real Tom?
Community corrections. As a lot of you know, we do the show as well as having full-time jobs. We've both got families. When we record on a Monday, I must admit sometimes we're knackered. It's hard. Today is a Sunday. I've had a nice restful weekend, pretty much, other than doing jobs getting the home ready for Ponsonbury the second.
Fourth in line.
100th in the line according to the law. The amount of people in the village who have had a shout out. I reckon I deserve a stint in Ponsonbury Manor. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for everyone for putting up with some of the lesser enthusiastic shows. We don't mean it, it's just sometimes we're just really struggling with the energy and it's really hard coming up with content every week. Big shout out to George because he's been manning the helm for a long time and never gives up. He's got the Churchill attitude.
That's the attitude I.
He's probably not a popular character at the minute, but we'll not even go there. Anyway, I think it's sometimes better for me to just.
I don't even know.
We don't want to record when we feel like it because then there's no. We like people to get into that routine of like they know when the show's coming, and we hope
we want to be
to
something
it.
that they can rely
we want to be
on.
reliable is the word I'm looking for, and
lift their day.
Yeah, and it's really nice and touching to get a letter like we've had today. This afternoon.
Thank you for that again.
Thanks
Rob.
again for that.
Little did I notice as well, he's used the Spider-Man notepad.
Classy.
What an absolute legend. To Rob, the Gaming Gram,
exquisite
and everyone in the
handwriting
community
as well.
I know, they're all so lovely to us. I honestly don't think we deserve it, to be honest with you. I'm still worried about what's happened to the real Tom. Hashtag milk.
Setting up the big heel turn, really. Just going to low blow you live on air or something.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
And just go on a rant.
You're a thespian, so that's what will happen.
Okay.
So with that, we've both picked that. We've both picked a thing out the boot.
We have.
So
it's
now,
only left for me to ask you what you've been hoping to play. Nearly
133 shows. Don't you worry about it, sunshine. Well, I don't know because I'm a little short on ideas, having just finished Jedi Fallen Order. So I really don't. I don't know. I fancy.
Is it time to tackle something new? There's not much time left between now and Forbidden
Bloodborne?
West. Bloodborne, ooh, a bit of a step up from the ode. That's another one. I was discussing earlier about watching your playstyle on Fallen Order, how I liked you were very aggressive. When Bloodborne came out, it was targeted a very different way to Dark Souls, sort of shield, roll, defensive playstyle. They wanted people to go out there and sort of attack the enemies and make you play way more aggressive. And the same was with Sekiro. So I read a really good comment the other day. Your first Souls game is always your hardest one. And it's true, because when you learn how they work, it's way easier. They're still challenging, but you're past that barrier of like, oh, that's why that's like that, and oh yeah, if I do that, that's going to make that easier.
Well, as a palate cleanser, I've got Uncharted 4, but I was going to save that for me and my mate who've been playing through them. We've got 3 to do on the remastered collection, and then we could have gone into a remastered 4, so I was going to save that so we can unwrap it.
I feel like Alan Partridge when he's in the gas station.
Who's doing what? Cook pants?
When he's got the Geordie mate, and he's like, oh, you speak to other people in the petrol station, do you, Michael? He gets really upset. I'm messing. That's cool. What are you doing it like a...
Yeah, we tried.
You're not doing community playthrough then with it?
No.
Okay.
When we all play along together? No, I don't know what that is at the moment. I think the vote's just gone up for the new wave of games. So that'll be, I think,
like some of the February big releases.
Die Hard Trilogy and another one. So obviously
Trilogy on the PS.
Yeah. Well, I think it's for Christmas and it got extended, and now there's a vote for the new game. So I don't know what that is. I think I voted for Star Wars Bounty Hunter for the retro title on PS2.
Ah, that's available on GameCube, isn't it?
You had that.
I didn't have that game.
I didn't have it. It's also available. Didn't it got a reboot? You can get it on the
Back
PS.
then, when I was like had no responsibilities, I probably did own that game because it would have been like bought that for a weekend, traded it by Sunday afternoon.
Probably.
If the shop's still open, desperate to get there. Before
Probably for like some sort of Acclaim game.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Bounty Hunter got a re-release on PS4 if you want to check it out. So did Republic Commando. A lot of those Star Wars games have had a re-release.
Republic Commando,
it's the one on the
I'm
Xbox.
sure I had that. Yeah,
That was
on the
really
original
great.
Xbox.
Yeah.
That was great.
One thing I've loved about Fallen Order is when you go through I don't know how deep you explored or whether you 100% did it, but I went through the Ventnor crash site and the Ventnor wing, and obviously there's loads of like hollow bits of clone troopers and the voices and everything, and when I did Ilum, I obviously got the flashback of Order 66, which I think you were hinting at.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's really nicely done. He's
well.
Master's a badass as well. Quite.
I think he's an alien that you see, an alien type you see in the Clone Wars or Rebels.
They hint at Cal being very powerful at that point as well, don't they? Where he's getting in the escape pod and he's doing something. I can't.
And he pauses time, which
Yeah.
is obviously a key technique you use in the game to slow things down. But that was interesting.
I think it must be always hard for a Star Wars game, and also we've seen it's a bit like with Mando and Boba Fett and then Cal, and they've got to be so careful not to make these characters so powerful because.
Yeah, why didn't he just rock up in the Death Star?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a bit. Obviously, this was the problem with Force Unleashed a little bit with Starkiller, but.
Compared, I'm glad I played the first one at least earlier.
I think they're good games, but obviously,
I know, but compared to this, it feels very
I'm
2005
I'm glad you have enjoyed a fairly recent game.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I quite often finish the big releases. Just
You do, yeah. I think,
like Kenner, it's a Souls type game, and I just didn't like the character, to be honest.
like the shows that I'm not in, unless it's a game I've played, I'm not interested.
Well, it needs to grip me with the story. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Kenner just did not grip me with the story. I did not care, and I'm not in for platinum or finishing games in that regard.
I persevered with it because I felt like I was a bit bummed out after playing Battlefield. And that was my only other game I'd got, and I actually enjoyed it towards the end. I think it's laid some good groundwork for potentially a sequel, but whether we'll see that, I don't know. I'm really going to keep an eye on that studio. But
Fallen Order's kind of reignited my love for gaming all over again in a way.
That's good.
Yeah,
I played it over a Christmas break and absolutely loved it. Thought it was brilliant. It's a great game if you've got a week or two off, maybe a week really, if you've got a week's holiday and you do have a fair bit of gaming time, if you've not got too many other.
I think if you wanted to just blast through it without finding the story of the Wookiees and a Wookiee training collar like
I reckon
me,
about 15 hours, 20 hours.
I think north of 20. I think because you need to make sure to do some of that. You need to. It helps
You do need
with
to
leveling
level,
your character up.
You're going to have to be pretty skilled on the controls to progress without leveling up a bit, and you're going to miss out on some of the good abilities through the skill tree. But
Because it was only when I went back to 100% Kashyyyk that I found the not the Pro Droid slice, but the K2SO Droid slice. I was like, how do I find this?
Yeah.
So I've damn near finished the game. I go back to walk through and then I find it. Ouch.
Yeah.
That was sore.
I don't know whether this is a mod or whether it's a real item in the game, but can you get like a flight suit for Cal? You know, the Rebel one.
You can get. I haven't found that. I'm wondering if it will unlock. After
It might be
credits,
a mod. I don't know.
I've seen you can get a cloak that's called Starfighter, and it's like it's cut up the sides of a normal X-wing, or a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
The orange one with the white.
It might be that I've seen.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember. But
I was wearing that, especially on Ilum. I was like, yeah, this feels right.
I did catch you as well, though, didn't I? Come in, Cal Kestis in his poncho.
Oh, dang. They're called Oodies.
Oodies.
Yeah,
the only reason I mock like anything when you're that immature, it's like I'm mocking it because I secretly want one.
Be a good boy, you might get one for your birthday.
Okay.
I'll have a word with Mumsy. So that's what I don't know what I'm actually hoping to play. I'm going to go through the library and have just a little blitz on a few things just to clean the
You need
palette.
to have a look in the loft for GameCube.
I need to look in the loft. I'm not doing that today.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But I will.
Thank you.
And I guess that wraps it up. I guess that's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial control. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See you, mate.